I love you. Whoa, hey there, slow down there, Junior. You're going just a little too fast. You're acting a little too crazy. Just come over here. Just come on over here and sit down on the couch with us. We'll just have a nice little talk. I am the Green Traveler. You're Pappy, I guess, in this intro.
I'm the Faceless Leon. Junior.
Junior. The old Faceless Leon.
You can't stop me. I'm so fast, and I'm furious. This is a podcast about movies and TV. Welcome to a brand new playlist. Where we'll be talking about some fast car movies that don't need to make sense.
Cars and babes.
Yep.
That's all it's about. Carbs, babes, Vin Diesel, and Paul Walker. That's all you need. I mean, yeah, we're talking the Fast and the Furious, baby. All the way back in 2001. We're 2 decades in now. 2 decades.
In. 2 whole decades.
The Fast and the Furious has blessed this world. And, you know, we just now this very year had the 9th film come out, which I think...
9 films in 2 decades. I think that deserves a round of applause.
It does indeed, and it's technically 10 films. They had they had that spinoff, Hobbs and Shaw, which I forgot to put in our original schedule. So I gotta go back and I gotta go make sure that's in there. Well, of course, we gotta watch Hobbs and Shaw. I'm like,
if it's canonical, then yes.
Hey, it is canonical. It is. Yeah, it takes place between the 8th and the 9th films, I believe. At least that's when it came out. Well, here's the thing: when the Fast and the Furious came out, my brother was all over this shit.
Yeah.
We have very differing tastes. And for me, a racing film, I'm not into. Whenever it was on, I was like, come on, let's not watch this stupid piece of trash again. You know, I did not like it. It's about cars. I am not a car guy. Very, very, very much so. I am not a car guy. I don't know shit about cars. I don't have any preference on automobiles. You know, if it gets me from point A to point B, I'm fucking okay with it. That's all. That's where my interest lies in it. I do, just because I like to just work with my hands in general, I do think it would be a lot of fun to someday learn and work on cars, because that's something I would like to do, but I would like to have my own garage to do that. I would like to be able to do that in the comfort of my own home with friends or whatever to teach me. But it's not something I'm going to go out and, like, you know, actively go to a school to study. Like, that's for other smarter people than me. I don't get that shit.
I definitely have very limited room to do so. My dad always made me go in the garage and help him when he was working on the car to try to teach me how to do things. I feel like I learned enough that I can I can turn a wrench. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it all works. I definitely am not great at it. I can change my own oil, and I've done the brake pads once or twice, but I don't really trust myself to do them, really.
I know enough that I can watch YouTube to figure out where else to get to.
Right.
Like, that's what I typically do, is like, if I have a car issue, I'm like, all right, I know where everything's at. What does this guy on YouTube say I need to do? And then I'll watch a video real quick and follow what he's doing and be like, all right, we're good.
Right. I can do minor things, yeah. Like right now, I need to get that stuff that you spray in there for your air conditioning to get cool again. And it sucks because it's been like upper 80s. It's been awful.
I'm totally a windows down kind of guy. That's
my
dream.
mean, we still do the windows down when it's hot, but it's just so, for us, it's just so humid. It's almost like the same thing as having the windows up and no air at all on if you roll them down. Especially if you're rolling through town and have to stop over and over again.
That's true. Yeah, if you're not constantly moving, I take more highway roads, so I'm almost constantly moving. But yeah, if you're rolling through town, it's not that great. But this was like my brother's dream. Like, I shouldn't say that. I don't honestly know how much he really likes the Fast and Furious movies. As a kid, I remembered he liked it a lot.
Right.
And and I just didn't get it. Like I don't like Paul Walker. I'll be honest. I'm gonna be honest up front. I'm gonna show on Paul Walker a lot throughout this whole playlist. He is a great guy. I've heard a lot of good stories about him. He seemed like he was a really fun person to hang around. May he rest in peace behind the wheel forever. Like he contributed to a lot of people.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people who love him and love his acting. That's great. I personally don't love his acting.
Did you hear that in the background? I don't know if you could hear. If you could, I'm sure my microphone picked it up, but I don't know if you heard it over the call. But somebody went down my road, and you know my road. It's the sign says 35. They had to be going like 95 miles an hour. That was so loud.
Did he enter the warp speed?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He hit his nos. And the windows shifted.
He's got 4 tanks of NOS.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
That's one fine way to blow yourself up, man.
There's so many good deliveries throughout this whole fucking movie. So if you don't know, NOS in the Fast and Furious world, I don't know if it's a real thing. Maybe it is.
Oxide.
Yeah, again, I'm clueless as shit. I don't know if people actually use this in their cars. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I think so.
I knew it was nitrous oxide. I'm just because that's what they say in the show, but I just didn't know if people actually use it to give them a speed boost like they do in this movie. But when you hit NOx, when you hit that, and you go up to 140 miles an hour. Everything warps around you. You enter warp speed because these fuckers have apparently not seen NASCAR or ridden in the car of a driver. Like they put cameras in NASCAR's cars all the fucking time. You don't enter warp speed. Shit doesn't go like whoa and go right past you in the fucking whoosh. Oh my god, it was so silly. I'm like, this is 2001.
I mean, I think what was happening was that is what Paul Walker's character Brian like Spieler, right? It's something like that.
Well, that's his fake name.
Well, I mean, if they haven't seen this movie, which I mean is 20 years old, but
we're gonna spoil so much about Fast and Furious. I mean, come on. First off, Paul Walker was just cast as a cop character. What about him makes you think he's a cop?
Especially not this movie with his freaking dyed blonde hair and frosted tips.
Oh man, he was straight out.
You know what? It's really 90s. I really wanted to shit on the fashion in this movie, but I know. Well, no, you know what? 20 years ago, when when we were in elementary school, going on junior high, I knew what the teenagers and young adults was wearing was ludicrous. I knew it. I was like, why are you wearing this?
It was so stupid. Dude, the one fashion thing that Paul Walker does in this movie, at least, that I just can't stand is the incredibly bulky t-shirts. It's so ridiculous.
That's
come on,
still
you're buff
my
as
brother's
shit.
Style, though. And he didn't even grow up it.
It just looks bad on Paul Walker, in my opinion, because it's like, the dude is buff.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Show that shit off. Wear a tighter shirt. Let me see your fucking muscles, man.
Dude, yeah, I remember, though, if you wore a tight shirt back then, it'd be a whole lot of gay jokes.
But that's fine. Accept it. Yeah. Embrace it.
Embrace it, Paul.
That's what my entire school did. We embraced it. It was a matter of pride to be called homosexual.
Yeah, I know, but that was 5-6 years later.
Yeah, it was. And it was also a very small town, so we all kind of were just more tight-knit.
Yeah.
We're closer together. But we're avoiding the big plot of Fast and the Furious, our humble beginnings. Yes, such humble roots that all this toxic masculinity blossomed into this.
It's awful in this movie, the toxic masculinity. I didn't say it right. But we'll just keep that in there because I'm not going to attempt to say it again. Who was it? Vince, Matt Schultz, that guy.
Was he the one that was fighting with
friend?
Fighting over Jordana Brewster?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that shit. He's been eating tuna here for 4 days straight, and ain't nobody like our tuna.
Nobody likes the tuna.
how dare he have the hots on somebody I have the hots on? This is bullshit.
I've known her my whole life. Well, maybe there's a reason why Mia hasn't gone out with you, Vince. It might be because you're a fucking jackass.
Yeah. But hey, Paul Walker, I don't know what the fuck he did besides just being charming, but
nothing. He did not. He came to eat tuna.
Well, he represents the exact same masculinity as Vince, though. Once Vince starts swinging, he starts swinging, and it's just like, come on, boys, like.
But I do feel like later on, because you find out that the what Brian is trying to do there is to get in with this group. Like, he probably felt like it was a good move to not show weakness. However, that got him just straight out thrown out by Dominic, Vin Diesel's character.
But it gave him the opportunity to go to the races and earn his respect.
Yeah, we're playing for pink slips. If I win, I get your respect.
Dude, okay. So here's the plot of The Fast and the Furious. Paul Walker is an undercover cop sent to I don't care. He's sent to figure out where some kind of like illegal shit's going on. And Dominic Toretto, I believe that's his last name, is played by Vin Diesel. It's funny because like I don't respect Brian enough to call him Brian. He is just Paul Walker. But Vin Diesel kills it in all of these fucking movies, man.
Dominic is a great character. And like I feel like I can't separate Dominic from Vin Diesel though. Like I just feel like he's playing a very angry version of himself, I feel like. Yeah,
he really is.
Yeah.
And so Vin Diesel Dominic Toretto has a past. he had he's had issues in the past with the law.
Yeah.
And he is maybe, helping steal some like car parts or something. I can't remember what the whole fucking heist kind of shit is in this movie. They take down semis and steal stuff from semis, but I don't remember what it is.
Well, it's usually like electronics or something. It is literally just to make a buck. And Brian's job is to infiltrate the racing world in general, because they know it's somebody from the racing world because of the tactical and precision driving that is going on during these heists.
That's correct.
Are the better part of the movie, I feel like, is the stunts.
I don't know. I can't stand the semi thing, because every time they're doing a semi heist, all my eyes are focused on is the semi driver, who in every single shot but the close up is very carefully hands on both wheels, keeping his eyes on the road, doing everything. And then you get to the close up and he's like whacking at a guy and he's like, he's fighting. And it's just like, okay, you're either fighting constantly or in a state of panic, or you are incredibly calm. Make a decision here, because going in and out of these close-ups and these wide shots, you're doing different things all the time. And I want to punch the continuity director and be like, hey, man, you have to keep your eye on this shit.
Yeah, but I feel like the only way they could fix that, and this probably is more applicable to movie making today than it would have been 20 years ago. But what they should do is, because the stunt guy has to be safe. Yeah, that's why he's got 10 and 2 and he's paying attention and shit. But what they can do nowadays is very easily computer animate a different scene behind those windows. Very easily.
Right.
But I don't know if they could do that easily 20 years ago. I
what
feel
they
like
could have done, though, is just frame it so that he wasn't in the shot. Or frame it so that there was a glare on the shot.
Yeah.
Do something. But like the fact that he's there just ruins your entire action scene for me, because it doesn't ruin it for anybody else. That is 100% true. I am going to admit that up front. For me, who I've worked as a continuity director before, it bothers the fuck out of me. I can't watch your action scene, because now I'm just focused on that, and I'm not even noticing the great stunt work, which is good in this. There's some fun, good stunt driving.
They drive that car under the semi when it becomes a single lane road, and just keep the speed up with it. I mean, that it's very well coordinated, and I don't know how much of the racing is done with green screen. I'm sure the stuff with the warp drive is.
yeah. I feel like everything shot from inside the car is all green screen.
Right. Sure.
There are some outside driving shots, but that's another thing that bothers me. Sometimes how they track the cars when they're driving, like you either are going with them overhead, which is nice, that's a good shot, or you're off to the side, like lanes away, and there's shit in between what you're watching and the car. Like, or there's shit in between you and the car, I mean. So there's so many shots where it's just like the camera's kind of shaky and the car is behind a shit ton of obstacles. And it's like, well, yes, I can see that the car is going fast, but I can't see the fucking car because it's behind trees and behind like a rock or other cars passing by. It's like, I don't know, that there's some choices in the racing scenes that just really bothered me.
There was one point, I think it was one of the earlier crash scenes, where I thought the shaky cam really worked really well. Like, this was I think right before shaky cam had its like super popularity burst, right before the Bourne sequels. So I thought it was implemented very well in that particular scene. But there is some interesting cinematography that I feel like they were trying to go for, like, oh, let's be super edgy, man.
Kind of felt like they might not have either had the budget to look into it, or the cinematographer didn't know how else to do it and didn't want to explore it. So it's like,
maybe they're trying to make it happen in a way that they didn't actually have to race cars at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah. And they also still probably wanted to keep it feeling like a little gritty, lower budget film, because it definitely does feel like a lower budget film.
It does. It does.
But it's not.
Well, dude, they break down how much those cars cost, man, in the movie.
You cost the government $90,000. Well, give me another car. I'll go out there and get Dominic. I'll get his heart.
Oh, can we talk about like the design of the cars?
How
These
bad?
Fucking Hot Wheels. I mean,
they have a Fast and Furious line. I think Hot Wheels Fast and Furious.
You know what? I might have had Dom's car because I recognized
I love his car.
Was it like a scorpion or a spider on his car? I meant to look it up beforehand.
Fucking know.
But like, they're like some of the decals on the car.
I'm gonna assume
are so silly, and like fucking spoilers and shit. And this guy Jesse, excuse me, played by Chad Lindbergh. He goes like in depth into like why like the different things he's adding onto this design are good and stuff. But it's really him saying nothing, obviously. And then Brian's like, "Wow, man. You're really smart. Why aren't you going to school?"
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was another thing. There's a lot of scenes like this that, as you say, they're unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I was curious though, like, were they trying to deliver a message? Because like what'd you say his name was? Jesse?
Jesse.
Yeah. He mentions that the reason he didn't go to school was because he has ADD, and he can't focus on the studies and everything, and the way American educational system is, totally good message. I agree, especially for the early to mid 2000s. Like that was going to become a huge thing back then, and so I'm like, are you trying to make a message here? Because if you are, go for it. Yeah, explore the message with your story. Otherwise, this is a Fast and Furious fucking movie. Why the hell do you have fucking messages in this shit? The message, as we all know from episode 4 on, is family.
It's family.
It's all about family.
So I feel like right now, when we're recording this, we're like at the height of that meme. I feel like.
I feel like the height of that meme was the 6th movie.
That's probably true, but it's having a masterful resurgence right now.
Oh, nice.
At the very least, it's enough for that I have seen more than a handful of them, and I'm not a huge, internet surfer. So, I feel like, though, by the time we release this, it could be totally dead. They could have killed it.
It's cruel, man. It's very cruel. Man, I don't even know where to go to next. Like, I feel like there's so much and so little.
So, all right, let's talk. There is one thing I want to talk about. This is something that I thought was honestly kind of done well. Like you said, there's not a terrible amount of things that like really grasp me in this movie, like as a extremely interesting dramatic moments or anything. But right. Some of the acting's really good, though. I will say that. Like, I really thought Jordana Brewster, Vin Diesel, and Michelle Rodriguez all do excellent jobs. I'll throw Chad Lindbergh in there, the Jesse character. Like, I don't really know what they're trying to do with his character, but he did a good job.
Yeah, he's interesting. I agree with you with Michelle Rodriguez and Vin Diesel. Fuck. This dog, she's the bane of my existence. I agree with you with Michelle Rodriguez and Vin Diesel. Jordana Brewster, like, I think she did okay. Her character is just kind of...
She's female.
Here to be ogled.
Yeah. Most of all the characters in the movie, if they're female, that's their character.
Well, except for Michelle Rodriguez, though, she's the standout who actually gets like more of an edge. Like
it is, it's just that. Except for she knows how to drive, Greg. That's sad.
Yeah, it's true, but she has more like. It's shown in this movie, at least, that she has a lot of good power over Dom, and that power is not just I'm a woman. It's like there is a good backstory between them that's very apparent, and like she definitely has just that control over Dom, which makes her a little more of an intriguing character than what they do with Jordana Brewster, who is just like
she's a Dom for Dom.
I don't want to blame that on Jordana Brewster. Of course, she does do a great acting job here. Yeah. I say great. She does a good job. I don't want to give her great. She does her job.
I think she does it well. Like
I just don't like how they used her.
A big, huge character or a breakthrough character.
Yet. We've got so much more to go.
I don't know, man. I gotta tell you, the last one I watched was the fourth one, so...
You stopped right before they got crazy fun. Yeah. Honestly, the fourth one was when I started actually enjoying them. Because that's the thing. I got to college still hating these movies. Like, my brother was like, hey, did you watch the new one? I'm like, no, I didn't watch the new one. I think they're trash. And then, like, eventually I just, like, broke down. I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch all of these just so I can tell you how trash they are. And so I had, like, 2 days off. And I'm like, I'm just going to fucking marathon this shit. So I went through it and I watched, 1, 2, and 3. Like, I'm giving previews for what's going to happen. But, like, I watched the first 3 and I was like, ugh, this is garbage. Like, I'm so mad. I'm texting my brother, like, furiously. I'm like, it's garbage. I hate all of this. It's stupid.
I remember when you were going through this.
Yeah. And then I watched the fourth one. I was like, whoa. Okay.
They went fast.
And I watched the fifth one. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I got to watch the sixth one immediately. Like, nice.
All right.
There's definitely a cliff.
I remember as a kid, honestly, really liking Tokyo Drift.
Oh my gosh!
So we'll see.
I'm really interested in getting back to that one. That's the one I've.
The non sequitur.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what it is. It's the third in Halloween the saga, 3. Which, as we've learned from Halloween, it's the weird one.
Exactly. It's the one where you get crazy. You're like, I'm going to go over here and talk about this story now. We're going to follow. I think it follows Han. I'm not sure.
He's in it.
Yeah, it might not follow him.
But Han was in this movie though, right?
I really don't remember the characters. Like,
I was always under the assumption that he was because of what happens in that movie. But I don't think he was in this movie.
Yeah, I think he might be a second film edition that, Too Fast, Too Furious. I don't know when. I don't know which movie we're going to just cave and talk the naming convention. I don't want to do it on the upfront yet.
Sure.
We haven't seen the Fast and Furious naming convention at its beautiful display yet.
No.
So like we'll save that for a later episode because it's gonna make me mad.
This is like way long ago, but I was trying to talk about about something that actually had to do with the plot of the movie.
Okay.
So the one thing that I actually thought they did kind of well was the depiction of Brian being undercover. Like, so the start of the movie, we talked about the start of the movie pretty much in length. He gets kicked out of this, like, I don't know, restaurant garage thing that Dominic runs along with his sister Mia. That in turn leads to him going to the race and getting to know Dominic. But after that scene where he gets to know Dominic and the race happens, then he gets arrested and it then is revealed that he is undercover and he's talking to his handler. Well, Sarah said to me when we were watching it, wait, can we go back? I think I stopped paying attention. I didn't know that he was a cop. And I said, that's because they just revealed it. And she said, oh.
Yeah.
I personally think that was a pretty good show, don't tell kind of situation in this particular story. And I think that it made it so that the story slowly build instead of being like, this is this thing and this is this thing and now go.
I agree with you.
It had a nice building block for that particular part of the story, I think, anyways. There's still a lot of like silly one-liners and the pressure that he gets from the FBI, I think, is really ridiculous. It's very political and really not necessary for the movie.
No, it adds tension. It adds tension. Necessary.
Okay, yeah.
It's totally necessary. He needs somebody on his ass on the cop side to make the ending, seem more like, fuck yeah, stick it to the FBI.
That's right.
That's right. Paul Walker. Let the criminal walk away. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Like,
yeah,
I really don't
cop.
understand why that happened. I mean, I know he got to know Vince and likes Vince, but
he owed him a car.
He still owed him a car, I guess. But didn't he?
I owe you a 10-second car.
That's the thing. Like, he keeps on bringing up that he owes him this car, but he did bring him a car, and they fixed it up together. That was part of the.
But then he wrecked it.
And so he automatically owes him another car.
Yeah, because he wrecked it. It's the streets, man.
Once you owe a car for life.
You owe a car for life, man. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's stupid. But no, I agree with you. I think that's a good. It's a good building block's a good word. It's them holding that card secret for the first third act of the first act or whatever. I guess there's only like 3 acts really.
Yeah, I would say 3 acts. Yeah.
Especially since right before he gets arrested, he helps Dom escape cops.
Right.
So it's like there's this big car chase, and he comes up out of the blue and saves Dom before you know that he is a cop. Before you know Brian is a cop. I'm saying I don't want to play the pronoun game there. Like, you're still clueless about that, and he saves Dom from cops, and you're like, oh, nice, he's gonna build this friendship. And then immediately after that, he gets arrested, and it's like, oh, nice. They really set that cop chase up really well. Right. Good job, guys. Like, it is where are they out? In California?
Yeah, I think it's LA area. Oh, yeah, because there's a line where he says even the cops in Hollywood are Hollywood. Because they set up in some
that's right.
Some celebrity's ex-mansion or something.
Well, we didn't throw this information out there, so I'm just going to throw it out right now in my closing statement. It's directed by Rob Cohen, who, he brought us this brilliant masterpiece here, which I'm giving 2 stars. That's how brilliant of a masterpiece it is. He also brought us Triple X, which is another Vin Diesel movie. Yeah. Which had a wonderful sequel with, I think, Ice Cube. That's interesting, isn't it?
Did he have anything to do with Reddick?
I don't think so. I think it could have tied into Reddick, maybe.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I just met Rob Cohen.
Yeah, I get you. It would have been hilarious if he had something to do with all 3, but I don't think he did. But it's written by Gary Scott Thompson, who I don't know anything else by. And, fun fact, it's also co-written by David Ayer, who is the guy who gave us the original Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
That piece of trash.
Uh-huh.
So, he's got a good filmography going. I didn't look at anything else. That was just the 2 things that stuck out was the Fast and the Furious and Suicide Squad. I'm like,
I
think I know which screenplays to avoid, but here's my closing statement. It's very juvenile humor. Very the first one at least has a lot of toxic masculinity. The dialogue's just hilariously bad at times. I didn't like the cinematography for a lot of the action scenes. Stunt work's great, but the one thing that carries me above and beyond, because again I give it 2 stars. In my opinion, it's a trash movie that people will enjoy. Yeah, and a lot of people do enjoy. For me, this first movie doesn't get it. Yeah. What gets me is the history beyond this, the future of this franchise. Like, I love a lot of what it's become and how ridiculous it's become, because it definitely there's a turning point where they realized, hey, this is stupid. We're gonna lean so fucking hard into this, and it's beautiful. But this one, it's not for me. I just don't like it. That's fair. It's campy and juvenile.
Definitely 100% juvenile. If I can just branch off of there, I
go for it.
And I'm sorry if that really insults people, but I just think that like the way that the people in this movie interact with each other is kind of dated. As well as their fashion and the way that they paint their cars. I try not to just take that in account when I give a movie a rating. I don't feel like it's an incompetent movie, so I don't feel like I can give it less than a face. So it's a full-faced movie. I mean, like you said, people will enjoy this movie. There's not really like any like big ugly plot holes or anything. But at the same time, I'm not entirely sure that everything really that goes on has to happen. Like there's the thing is like there are a lot of kind of complex elements into this story, but they don't push it enough to make it feel like a great complex story. It's just a story about cars. And it could have just been a story about cars, and maybe it would have been better. I don't know.
Right. It's an hour and 45 minute film that could have passed as an hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And, sure. And if it had done that, I might have given it 2.5 stars. Let's be honest. I'm not going to give this shit any higher than 2 stars. I don't care what they do to it.
But I do feel like obviously it was a good jumping off point for this franchise. And people obviously really like this movie.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't necessarily care for it too much, but it didn't leave a bad taste in my mouth either. So, it's fun. It's a fine movie.
There's one shot in particular that was really bad and very shaky, and from a very far distance of a car going fast.
Yeah.
That it was bad enough that it left a bad taste in my mouth because I almost upchucked, but... That's the only time, and I agree. It's not so bad that I'm just like, this is just awful. But it is bad. It's just it's enjoyable bad. I can still laugh at it.
Yeah,
and have a good time.
And I don't know. There's still some elements that if I like these later movies, like you think I will, I'll come back to it to see if what they're drawing from out of these originals, if anything.
Just to see them sleek secky.
What are you
just to see
about?
The sleek and sexy frosted tips? That's what I was trying to go for.
What it is, yeah. Oh, well, fuck, man. I think that's probably our show.
Hell yeah, it is. We'll be back here next week with Too Fast and Too Furious.
Yeah, we will be.
And in the meantime, if you all, we should have done this so much earlier. We always do this at the end.
Yeah, it's funny because we do it at the end, and then we have that little closer thing that I tag on at the end of the episode. That says it too. But please,
just bash them over the head with it.
Yeah, just
join our Patreon.
Here's
people.
My fast car. I'm gonna hit you with it and say, hey, if you wanna, if you like the show. If you like us shitting on action movies, send us a little bit of money if you would at patreon.com/Green and Faceless. Did I say that right? Patreon.com/Green and Faceless.
That's correct. You did say that right. That's patreon.com/Green and Faceless. Just type that into your little search bar there. Go peruse our tiers. Look at our awesome merchandise. I'm actually right now wearing our t-shirt.
It's
actually very nice and comfortable
logo.
shirt.
So if you're watching right now, you know what the t-shirt looks like, except for it's blue.
If you're watching right now,
well, okay, listening. Thanks, man. If you're listening right now, the emblem on wherever what the app that you're listening on. That's what's right on the t-shirt. It's nice.
Us on the couch.
Yeah, us on the couch. And beyond that, any of our patrons, they have the right to vote on our potato pick episode that happens once a month, first Thursday of the month. I think that's all we got to say. I am the Faceless Leon.
And I am the Gortian Green Traveler.
The Gortian Green Traveler.
Gortian.
I am... already done that. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. If you like the show, please show your support by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you might listen. We also now have a Patreon account. If you feel so inclined to support us in a financial manner, please become a patron by visiting patreon.com/greenandfaceless. You can also find more information about us on our Facebook account or on the FictionWorks 19 Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening.